First of all, thank you for letting me speak. There are always going to be what we call external costs with what we're consuming, and food and beverage is most important because we have to be fulfilled by what we eat and we have to enjoy it. And if those external costs are associated with torrid activity such as modern-day slavery and so on, then that is being seen to taint what we're consuming more and more, because supply chains are more transparent through media, social media. We're spotlighting these issues more and more. But one of the key things to note here is that we're often talking about criminal and illegal activities that are often driven by financial gains and lack of governance. And much of the food, I sit in a corner of northwestern Europe where I'm being supplied by food and beverage by companies that are often certificated, assured and safe. So I have a higher chance of obtaining goods that are certified and assured and not likely to be associated with illegal activity as much in other parts of the world where that infrastructure doesn't occur. But in terms of sustainability, it's not an A versus B type situation. I can't tell people what to eat. Many of the things that people are concerned about when they're eating food, and they're certainly prisoners of in many respects, is the nutritional outcomes. So eating foods that are high in livestock products seem to be damaging to the environment, but eating an English cooked breakfast at 7 or 8 times a week is going to have clear detrimental outcomes on my health, whereas an avocado on toast will be slightly more healthy for me. However, if those avocados are air freighted into the UK, they will have a high environmental impact. So yes, it's about transparency around the information that's transferred and has to resonate with the consumer, which is most important.
I mean, I read a really devastating article about almond milk, which I used to love, which I still love, but which I find it much harder to drink now, having read about the impact on land in California, where it's just grown relentlessly year after year after year, and the land loses all its nutrients and nothing else can exist there.
Yeah, but, there will be operations and enterprises that farm almonds sustainably, and that they will. You can't extrapolate their practices to illegal activities. The same with avocados. I mean, not a stone's throw from where I work in Lincolnshire in the UK, which is a rural region, there are companies that import a lot of avocados because the Brits love guacamole. To have those products tainted with slavery or criminal activity would literally destroy their brands, because they're supplying our retailers in the UK and so on. I sit and work and live in a rural region of the UK in Lincolnshire where 35% of field-grown vegetables that the average British person consumes are produced, and I can see those crops being produced, and I know how they're produced, and it's sustainable, it's localized. So transparency around those supply chains is incredibly important, and localizing those supply chains where possible, because it's impossible to grow mangoes in the UK or avocados in the UK, for example, because we source from a global system. But localizing is an important solution here. But transparency around responsibility across the supply chains is absolutely crucial, and we have to make that resonant with all consumers.
Wayne, tell me a bit about urban and vertical farming and why you think that could be the answer. What is it and how?
Well, we work with a number of protected production environments, the so-called vertical farms. And if you wanted to give an example of a case where a consumer can see where their food is grown, that's it. There are even retail stores in central London at the moment that have vertical farms installed so that consumers can go in and literally pick what they're going to eat. So you can see where the herbs are grown or the leaf salad is grown. You can actually pick that and do that in a safe way so that you have complete visibility, line of sight from production to the point of consumption. So that's almost absolute assurance. However, you can't do that for everything. It's fine for leaf salads and herbs, for example, but you wouldn't be able to do that for apples and pears, for example. So there are limitations there, but it's a fantastic idea, and I do think that we will see these step changes in how we purchase and how we interact with food when we purchase. And I must admit, I'm sitting in a high-income country, and
very briefly, Wayne, because I'm afraid we're just coming up against the news.
Sorry, and the whole world doesn't live like me, so I'm taking a very European perspective.
Indeed, thank you, Professor Wayne Martindale and Jocelyn C. Zuckerman. Thank you very much indeed.
Across the UK, on DAB, online and on your smart speaker. This is Times Radio.
It's 2:00. I'm Mariella Frost.